Let's continue with the functions today. Passing arguments to functions. We have seen in the examples last time how we pass some values to a function. These are the last examples we did. We created a function named print square. The function has one parameter, which is x, and we call the function with the value 10. 10 will be given to which value? 10 argument is called here, is given to the parameter 6, x, and the same thing. Same thing here for print what? Triangle area. What did we send to the function? Base and height. And here we said print triangle area, and we sent 5 and 5. Let me create one more example, the same thing. I'll create a function called print circle area, and I expect the user to send me what, ya banat, here. So now the radius is going to be forwarded to me by someone else. As a function, someone needs to send me the value of what? Radius. Here I can say area is equal to what? Math dot py. هيك هي ولا لازم import math عن جد؟ اوكي طيب import math مش كتير فارقة. ماشي import math and math dot py times radius star star print area and area. So this is a function. If anyone calls this function, he needs to send what? If you don't send anything like print circle area, without anything, the program is not going to run, and it's going to give you an error. What's the error? Missing one required what? Positional argument, which is what? So you must provide a value to this, because it's expected to get one argument from you. Does that make sense? Now it worked. Let's do one more thing here. Def print factorial, and I expect the user to send me what? N, and I can say fact is equal to 1 for I in range n plus 1. Fact is equal to fact times I, and then I can say print, I can say n factorial is equal to fact. So now if I call this function with a factorial with n, it needs to print me what? It calculates the factorial and prints it. So how many parameters here? 2 parameters. So I need to call which function now? One parameter, واحد. What is the function name? Print fact. And I need to send a value. A value can be a variable or anything, يعني, huh? Okay. Now I'm just calling the second function here and run it. I'm getting factorial of 5 is equal to 0. Why? Fact is equal to fact. Huh? Oh, 1, صح, because no need to, we will be multiplying by 0, صح? So factorial of ماشي الحال. So these are functions that take parameters from you. Of course, it can be x is equal to 5, and here send what? X. Is it integer? It can be r is equal to 4.9, and here send what? Names do not matter, ya banat. Okay, one parameter here, one parameter here. That's it. Positional. Okay, ماشي الحال. And anything we learned before, okay, anything we learned before can still be done using now what? Functions. Print stars. You remember print stars? Okay, and how many stars to print? For I in range n. Okay, for j in range, okay, n, okay, Brent star, or end is equal to nothing, or Brent, a new line, okay, and here if I call Brent, which function? Stars with the value 5, it will print me what? Okay, شو المشكلة? Why there was no new line? Okay, oh, this is outside the loops, huh? That's it. So now this one will print 5 stars, huh? I'll make it 15. We get how many stars? Square of what? 15. If you recall, there was many examples I solved when it comes to Brent pyramid, for example, or whatever. Brent stars triangle, whatever, huh? For I in range, and this should be I. Okay, 1 to n plus 1. Okay, let us see if I call the other one. What's the other one? What's the function name, ya banat? Okay, let us see if this is gonna, huh? You remember what's this? It will print what? Like what? First time what? 1, 2, 3. The counter of the second one is the counter of the first one. Let me call it with 5 only. This has been already solved and available in video recording for problem session 3, all the stars question. So these are just examples where functions take what? Take, huh? Huh? Where? Wow, this is chapter 0. Don't go to the next line. Don't go to the next line. Otherwise, it will print star and go to the next line. Here, end is what? Space. Yani end, after you print, don't go to the next line. Just make a space. Okay, you need to just review the first lecture in chapter 2, please. Tamam? Okay, tamam. So I just did this example, and I did this example now. Making changes to parameters. Look at this statement, very important statement. You need to understand it. Changes made to the parameter value within the function do not affect what? Type. Again, changes made to a parameter value within the function do not affect what? The argument. A new example here. F7. Okay? Def F1. Just any function name. Does that make sense, ya banat? X is equal to 99. Brent X. Good? So now, if I call F1 with a value 10, what's going to happen? 10 will be given to what? And then X is changed to what? And then printed. Does that make sense? Tamam? Should be clear. Good. Now we need to see other things here. Let us say this is C is equal to 5. And I call the function with what? C. This is a argument, and this is what? Now when I call the function with C, what's the value of C? And inside the function, X will be made what? Tamam? 99. Type. I want to print C. I want you to guess what's the output now. Based on what? Changes made to a parameter value within a function do not affect what? What is the argument here? C. What's the parameter? When you call F1 with C, what's going to happen? Awishi, what's the output? What do you think the output is? Huh? No, the output inside the function, and there is one more output in line 7, right? What's the output? Change, okay, 99 and what? Why? Because changes made to the parameter do not affect what? Changes made to the parameter do not affect what? The argument. Again, changes made to the parameter do not affect the argument. Tamam. So now, when you call the function f1 with c, a copy of c, listen, a copy of c is sent to the function. Is it c itself or a copy of the value of c? Copy of the value of c. يعني, whatever they make changes to the parameter inside the function will not affect what? Did you get this now? Did you get this? طب ها? Def f2 n is equal to n plus 1 print n. Again, f2 c print c. So now when I call f2, what's the value of c? No, when I call f2, what's the value of c? I'm exactly saying the opposite. Okay, f2 is 5. A copy of the value 5 will be sent to what? A copy, يعني c راح تضلها لوحدها. بس نسخة من الفاليو تبعها راح يروح لمين؟ فيكون أي تعديل we do to n is not going to affect what? Because this will be separate, a copy of it. Again, any changes to the parameter inside the function will not affect what? Now, c remains 5. Do you get this? In f1, c becomes x, and x is 99. In f2, c originally is 5. It becomes n becomes 6, but c before the first function is still 5. After the second function, still also what? The changes made to c are actually not made to c. They are made to the copy of the value of what? يعني c is the argument. Do you agree? N is a parameter, x is a parameter. Any changes you make to the parameter do not affect what? Did you get this? No. It uses a copy of the value of c. يعني whatever you do inside the function ما له علاقة بالvalue تبع الارجيومنت اللي برا الفانكشن. Does that make sense? Because the function is not working on c. The function is working in a copy of its value. So here, back to business. This is called pass by what? يعني احنا we send the value, not the argument itself. C has 5 in it, but we send the value 5 to the function, not C. There is a difference between sending the value or sending C. Provides a way for unidirectional communications. Calling a function, okay, here. We have value main. Do you see it? Function called what? Value is what? You change me. You call a function called me. Called what? Change me. You send a copy of the value, which is what? But you don't send the value itself. You send a copy of what? Whatever you do to arg in this function is not going to affect what? The parameter, the argument. Tamam. So the value is 99. Do you agree here before you send it? Then when you send it to the function, the argument is changed to what? You print it will be 0. However, now the value is what? But when you go back to the function, values is still what? Do you get this? يعني this is a copy ملوش علاقة في الأصلي. الأصلي بضل مكانه ما بتعدل عليه. Whatever the function does to the argument does not affect the original one. Did you get this, يا بنات? Okay. Okay, we have a function f1. There is an x inside it, defined equals to what? 10. X is a local variable. I explained local variable last lecture. There is another function called what? There is an x defined inside it. What's the value of x inside the local 99? So this x is local to which function? And this x is local to what? يعني now if you call f1 and f2, each function has its own x, yes or no? That's what we call what? That is what is local variables. صح ولا لا? Two different things. This is inside f2, this belongs to f1. Now, for whatever reason, if there is a variable called what? X. Now, if we try to print this, what will be the output? No difference. If we print x now, here outside the functions, if we print x, what's going to happen? Which variable is going to be printed? What's the value of it? 100. Outside the function, the scope, which one is there? This one. We call it global because is it visible to everyone? But this x is local to which function? f2. And this x is local to what? So the output, is it clear why the output is 10, 99, and 100? Now, for whatever reason, you want to use the global x inside the function. For whatever reason, شو ما كان السبب, okay? Def f3. You want to use which x? The global x. The one that's available outside all functions. Is it outside all functions? So we call it what? Global. If it's only declared inside the function, it's going to be only used where? And it's only visible to the inside the function, and it's called local to the function. If you want to use the global x, you just say what? Global what? بس خلاص. Now, if you print x in f3, is this x? What's the difference between this x and this x? This x is local to which function? And this x, is it local? Because you are hinting, you are telling Python interpreter that what? Hey, this is not my x. I'm using which one? The global x. No, so now if I call f3, what's going to happen? So f3 will print what? Tamam. Let us make output clear here. So anytime you want to use a variable with the name of a global, print inside f3. Does that make sense? So now I'm calling all of them, all the functions. So inside f3, I'm getting what? Global. طيب. Let us say if we change it, tamam? If we change it, are we working on the local x or a global x now? I don't know. Tamam. So finally, x after printing 100, x will do what? X will do what? Changing x in, but the x in f3, is it global or local? The x in f3, before you started using it, what did you say? So now, after this, okay, so here, I will run this. Now, see the last answer. What is this now? Did x change the global? Yes or no? Why? It's all about what? It's all about x saying what? I'm not using my local x. I'm using which x? The global x. So here, this variable, x, is it local or global? It's only, whatever you make to this x, it will be x that is inside what? This is f1. It has its own what? This is f2. It has its own what? But f3 is using the global x. So whatever happens to this is you are working on which one? Here, whatever you change, you are changing the local x. Is it clear now? However, now, final comment. If you want to use global variable inside a function, if you don't say global variable name, it will be what? Local. Do you get this? If you don't say global variable name, it will be considered a local variable to that function. Does that make sense? ماشي الحال. Yes. Anywhere outside all functions. Look here. Anywhere outside all functions. It should not be inside any function. Tamam? That's why it's called what? If it's inside the function, it's local to that function. تمام? It's considered just an argument to that function. ماشي الحال. هلا x طبعها برا بس if you print it inside it's gonna be what? It's gonna be 40 صح؟ بس هنا احنا هون when you print x here which x is gonna be printed? This x, yes or no? But if you print x here, which x? And here, but here inside, from this moment you are working on which one? خلاص. ما هو عدلها. ها؟ Which should be 40. print x هاي this x. وبعدين راح هون. Both will be 40. Both output will be 40 صح؟ يعني inside will be خلق ما هو it's one global thing صح؟ It is who did change the F3? Who did change X? Then it is 40. F3 is working on this one. So whether you print it from F3 or you print it from outside, it's going to be what? Because here you are working on the global. F1 and F2 are working where? Huh? لا هاي هي اللي طلع. Here, huh? Print outside all functions. تمام. And here see new value. تمام. I will call F1, F2, F3. Inside F3 global was what? Then what we did? Changing, and we are printing it to what? And then when you come here, the global value is what now? 40. Does that make sense? ماشي? So let's go back and see what the slides are talking about. Global variables are what? Created by assignment statement written what? Can be accessed by any statement in the program, including from within functions. But if you want to access it inside function, you must say that I am using what? If you don't say that, the function will be creating what? Your own local variable. Does that make sense? If a function needs to assign a value to the global variable, the global must be redeclared with the function as what? Global variable name. See here, this one is what? Global, which one? So you are working on the global variable. ماشي الحال. So here we are doing, you need to know how, if you work with local or global. ماشي الحال. So clearly this x is, now what happens if I say here, global x? What happens now? F2 will be working what? So, and the value will be what? Huh? Huh? Inside now, what is x now? Did you get this? Inside F3. Yani now F2 change which value? If you remove this, is it going to change the global or its own x? خلاص واضحة القصة? Okay. However, global variables are not a solution to your problems. تمام? يعني do not really use them a lot because it's not a professional way to do programming. One more thing. Programs grow. بيكبروا كتير programs. If you have many global variables and the global variable can be changed from anywhere, it will be not easy or it will be very hard to detect errors or bugs in the program because you really don't know who changed this value because everyone can change it. Does that make sense? Yani, if it's a local variable, you will know who changed it because it's only inside the function that is going to be changing. But if it's a global and you have many global variables and have so many functions, it's not easy to trace who did the change to that variable. Tamam. Okay. However, globals are good when they are used as what? Not constant, not variables, are used as what? Constants. Do we need to change a constant? It's a good idea that, for example, okay, it's a good idea. You can use, I'll say, max score, for example, is equal to what? This is a constant. And you remember, constants, we usually name them with what? Minimum score. This is just an example, ya banat. Is equal to what? So I have two constants that are what? Are they global or local? Global. So now I'll create a function, def, okay? Def print score, whatever, Now, here in your function, you will say score is equal to integer input. What? Enter score, and it should be from 0 to what? 100. Right. Now you want to check if your score is valid or not. You can say while what? Score is less than what? Minimum score is defined, صح? This is available to everyone, yes or no? And it's a constant. You get this? Constants will not make your life hard because it's not supposed to change. You get that? Or score is greater than what? Do you see a good use now for what? Globals, but not global variables. Global what? If you are doing any experiments, you have constants like speed of light, water boiling temperature, any those constants you study in sciences, chemistry, physics, anything. You can define the constants. It's not a bad idea to define the constants as what? As global. Because everyone can use them. The good thing about constants is they are not intended to be changed. صح ولا لا? So if there is a problem, you expect no one to have changed the constant, right? But for variables, the problem is that when your program grows and so many functions in your program, you cannot predict who did the change to the global variable. Does that make sense? So for global, what is the right or best way to do it? Use it for globals or for variables or constants? Does that make sense, Yavana? Is it clear now? So global constants, okay, permissible to use global constants, يعني كويس, to simulate create global variables, do not redeclare them with function. Here, what is عندنا? Contribution what? Anytime you want to use it, بس خلاص. Here, whatever, use the constant. Any function can use what? Can use the constant. No need to declare it inside each function, and some constants are used again and again. صح ولا لا, right? So just make it a global and use it whenever you want. Do you see this now? So it's not recommended to use global variables. However, global constants are fine and useful because, and when you define constants, how you define it in Python, ya banat? All what? All capital letters. Tamam? Yalla. Next one. This is very important now. When I started this lecture, I said there are two types of what? Two types of functions. Some are void functions, do not return any value to us. This is very important. Some are void function. All the functions I did so far, they are void function. They print something. See, there is a difference between printing something on the screen, and there is a difference between sending something back to me. You get this? Yeah, I'll be waiting for a value from you. I'll store it somewhere because maybe I need it somewhere else. Do you get this, Yavanan? So what's a value returning function? A function that what? Returns what? A value to the caller. It depends who calls the function, okay? It depends. Anyone who can receive a value from a value returning function. I'll give you some examples here. Okay, let me just remove this here and go here to our first value returning function. I will do the same functions, but I'll start with a simple one. Get double x. This is a function. What's the name of the function? Usually the functions that return value, Usually they start with get. يعني bring me, give me something. طيب what is the double of x? X times 2 صح؟ ها? I will say return. Wow, here's the new word. X times what? What's this now? Now, if someone sends you X, send back to him what? Double X. Good? If someone sends you X, send him back what? طيب, look at this. C, what's the function name? Get double 10. Now, C is equal to get double 10. The value 10 will go here. It will be recalculated and returned. So what do you think after we finish this statement? C is equal to what? Actually, بعد ما يخلص هذا السطر C is equal to what? Did you get this? يعني هلا if I print C, what will be inside C? The value, الفاليو اللي راح يرجع من الفانكشن راح يكون هون على اليمين. ف C is equal to whatever value that returns from the function. Now let's see this here. ديانا لو سمحتي تفضل مع السلامة. ما خلص الوقت تأخر على الدخول على القاعة. تفضل. توكل روح اقعد استريح. Okay, so now what's the output here? Get double. What will be the output? تمام. So return anything. طب this is very simple. Def get circle area. I will send you the radius, and you send me back what? The area of what? The area of what? The circle. تمام. So I will send you what? The radius. Now here I can say area is equal to what? Math dot pi times radius star 2. Does that make sense? Return area. So whoever calls this function needs to send what? And he expects the function to send back what? طيب خليكم معي. A is equal get circle area and the radius is what? So now what will be inside A? The value of what? It will return here. It will replace this. صح ولا لا? And now here let us print what? Area. تمام. So this is the area of the function. Everything we did before, huh? Factorial. We did print factorial. Didn't return anything يا بنات. تمام, huh? So now I'll change it. Instead of print factorial, I'll say what? Get factorial. No need to print it. I need to do what? Return what? So now if you want to know a factorial, call this function, send n to the function, and the function will return the factorial. Do you get this now? Is it clear? Let me say now, f is equal get factorial of 5. So the function returns 120. Do you know this? So now if I print f, you know the value stored inside f is the value that has been returned from where? Is it? طيب, let us do some simple example here. I want the factorials of values between what? 1 and 10. We did this question using nested loops before, صح ولا لا? But now I will say for I in what? Range 1 to 11. Print what? Get factorial of I. So now, how many times I'm going to call the function? 10 times, yes or no? صح ولا لا? First time, what value will be sent to the function? The value of what? Second time, what value will be sent to the function? Then 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. Yes or no? طيب, for each time you call the function will return what? And this will print the factorial directly, يعني will not store it here. Here in the previous exam we stored it, huh? Run. You see, these are the factorials of what? Of values between what? 1 and 10. طيب, I want to know the area for I in range 10 1 to 11. خليه. Good. Print get circle area of I. Now, which function will be called here in the second loop? In first time, what's the radius? Second time, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And every time you call it, the function returns what? Area. And this loop here, we print the value directly. Tamam. So let me just make this a comment here. Now I'm calling which function? These are the areas of when the radius is 1, when the radius is 2, when the radius is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Isn't it easier from from nested loops? So now, a value returning function will send a name to you. I'll make another example here. Okay, I'll have what here? 10. Okay, def get what? Score. This function does not take anything from you. Score is equal to integer input enter score. Good. Now, this score must be between what? Between what? Between 0 and 100. Let us see this now. I want to validate it. While score is less than what? Or score is greater than what? Okay. What? I'll tell the user what? Invalid whatever. صح ولا لا? Right? Invalid value. Re-enter score. We can say 0 to 100 here is not a big deal. Tamam. And return what? خليكم معي. What's the task of the function now? What is the task of this function? To get score from the user and make sure it's what? No need to put it inside the loop. صح? You get my point. We did this inside loop. صح? It's a spaghetti code, right? But now here, we don't, no need to put it inside the loop. Tamam? No need to put it inside the loop, and that's it. So anytime you need a valid score, what are you gonna do? You're gonna call what? This function, huh? So S is equal to what? This get score, huh? And print what? S. Run. Enter a score. Whatever. Is this valid? Whatever. Is it valid? 77. And it returned it. So you see, we took this function outside what? طيب, يلا, I'll make another function. I'll call it getBH. And you know what I'm going to do exactly inside it. صح ولا لا? getBH. صح ولا لا? Now here, let me just make some real estate, some space here and there. Enter BH score. And BH usually is a float. صح ولا لا? Okay. While what? BH is less than what? 0, or pH what? Is greater than what? 14. Then pH is equal to float input invalid re-enter pH, and should be between what? 0 and 14, and return what? pH. And what's the problem here? Float starts with A, right? So now if you want a valid pH value, can you call this function? You are using it, you call this function from somewhere else, right? Whenever you need a valid value, you just can get it from there. Tamam. So now here, okay, what was your second quiz? A while loop, صح? A while loop that uses what? pH صح? Until the user inputs what? ها؟ Whatever. احنا هلا خلينا هون. تمام. Here. So what I'm gonna do here? I'm gonna do 10 for integer sorry. For I in range, I have 5 examples only. Good. Yalla. pH is equal to what? Get what? خلاص يعني no need to put all this code inside our loop. Do you get this يا بنات? Did you get this? No need to put it صح؟ طيب you want to know if it's what? Acidic or what? طيب هلا بتعرفوا شو بدي. def get solution ايش بتسموه؟ ايش بالستاتس هاي اللي هي تاعت الاسيد ايش بسموها؟ ها؟ ايه؟ state ها؟ whatever get pH score ها؟ or get pH state تمام؟ عندي function this function takes from me what؟ خليكم معي. لا 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 if pH is less than ما عليكم منها اوكي then ايش بكون acid return شوفوا معي return what acid L what LF pH equal what return what ركزوا معي اللي بيحكوا else return لاحظوا I'm not checking anything base تمام طيب I have two functions now one will get me the pH and validate it the second will get me what so what I'm gonna use here get pH and print get pH what state وايش راح ابعث لها pH value اللي رجع لنا اياه what do you see this now see this loop without function you needed to put all this code and all this code inside one loop yes or no now to make sure your input is valid you call which function to get the result you call which function the first function does not in run 7.7 ايش في هيك صح 7.7 what did you get 5.5 99 this is inside which function now minus 9 ما في give me a 3 تمام 12 okay 1 0 خلصنا صح do you see this يا بنات did you see this now so I made one function to get and validate what I made another function to return what the state of that value did you get this now is it clear and see our program now you see our program is it clear what's our program now we are just calling what functions تمام طيب okay طيب what is the factorial which example was the factorial here which example this one تمام good I will make a function here to get non-negative value you know factorial cannot be done for okay get non-negative what's the function name x is equal to integer input what enter a non-negative value does that make sense yalla what's the validation while x is less than what 0 take the input again and do not leave unless what مش راح okay now finally outside the loop return x you know you will never reach line 16 unless the value is what طيب يلا now I need you to do the factorial of 10 non-negative numbers You will call which function? Get what? No, you need the value, صح? Get non-negative will make sure the value is valid. Then you, whatever value returns to you from which function, you will send it to which function. And this finally, the function will return you what? Factorial, صح ولا لا? For I in range 5, okay? 5 times يعني بس قصدي. Okay, يلا. N is equal to what? Get what? Non-negative, تمام. And now what? F is equal to get factorial of what? Of N, صح? And now I will do print. I will do print what here? F N, صح? N factorial is equal to what? F. Do you get this now? Is it? So N is the value that returns from which function? This one. Fact is okay, and run. So now let us make sure now here. يلا get a non-negative value. -6 ما راح يعطينا. تمام. Is not 4. Good. See, the output is very nice. 5, 2, 7, 8. Do you see this now? Do you see how functions made our code more organized? If you discover an error in the factorial, let us say that there was an error in the factorial. How to fix it? Where do you go? Go to the factorial function. But if your code has no functions, 1,000 lines, you need to keep what? Searching. And now, if for whatever reason this was plus, tamam? This was what? Plus. Then you go and fix it. You know where to debug your code. صح ولا لا? It's easier to debug. It's easier to understand also. Does that make sense, يا بنات? Now. So value, okay. Can function returns more than one value? Yes, والله can. How? بس return more than يعني بايثون جماعة أوادم طيبين يعني Okay. Def F1. Can functions return more than one value? والله yes, they can. بس easy يعني F1, whatever function. X is equal to 5, Y is equal to 10. Return X, comma. يعني now you are returning how many values? بغض النظر, regardless of what we did, But can they return? Now here, A, comma, B is equal to what? So now, what's the result of F1? What's the result of line 5? Value of X will be given to A. Value of Y will be given to what? Did you get it? It's in the same order, Print A, B. So if you want your function to return multiple values, you get this. I'll make this 15. Of course, the order is important. Do you get this, Yabana? طبعا, I can make this input complicated, but I just want you to remember, to understand the concept. Can a function in Python return multiple values? Yes. In Java, C++, you can only return what? One. Any question on this one? Is it clear here? A function can return multiple values, no need to. Okay. طيب. This is very simple here. Write a function max xy that receives 2 integers and return what? Can we do it? And write a function factorial x that receives an integer and return what? Already done. What's this? Sum y. It calculates the sum of what? And return what? Do you get this, ya banat? يعني here when you call sum a b, a will be what? X, صح ولا لا? And b will be what? And result will be c. Do you agree? And then you print the total. Did you explain more يعني examples? تمام. How to use a value returning functions. We did this, okay. تمام. What examples we did before? You know where I'm gonna go? I'm gonna go to open folder. I'm gonna see my, what is this here? I'm gonna see my loops folder. Okay. What's this here? ايش هذا السؤال؟ Ask the user and input values. Let me see one some print numbers. Ask the user, validate. Hi, we just did this, صح ولا لا? But we did it in two functions, right? One function was what? This, صح ولا لا? And the other function was what? Okay, let's see loop 9. Loop 10, what is this? Brent, okay, factorial already done. Factorial of integers is already done. While true, okay, is already done. To keep that, okay. This is can be a function ready. Yani. Most of the code, ya banat, you know now, instead of print, if the function needs to return a value, instead of print, you do what? Return, and the function returns it to what? Okay, tamam. I'll close this folder now here. I'll go back to the functions folder. You don't have to go all the way. Just click on what? The folder that was open. Tamam. Let us make a function, call it max of 3. F12 dot what? Python. I'll make a function def what? Max 3. Tamam. And what you send to this function A, B. أنا متأكد إني عملته بدون return صح؟ هيها. What do you think here? Do you see this? So now الحياة سهلة with copy paste صح? Right here now I'll make it what? Everything, but now instead of this I will return what يا بنات? So now anytime you have 3 values, you need to know their maximum, you call which function? Does that make sense now? Brent, okay, max 3 of 10, 33, and 1. And the function will be called, it will return which value? Okay. So now let us see here, print maximum is equal to that. Is it clear? Tamam. Good. طيب, I'll make another function. هيك بس يعني. تمام. I'll call it max minimum of what? يعني this function will return what? لا, both the maximum and what? So minimum is equal to what? موافقين صح ولا لا? If what? If minimum is less than B, then what? B is equal to what? If minimum is what? Minimum is less than C, then what? C, لا هي if minimum is greater صح؟ 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 ولا minimum if minimum okay معلش minimum is equal to B. If minimum is greater than C, then minimum is equal to C. هي صح ولا لا؟ مظبوط هيك؟ تمام. Return max and what? So this function returns only what? One value or two values? So how are we gonna use it now? If we have, for example, mn, okay, or mx, comma, mn, what? Get what? Max minimum of what? 3, 10, 600 minus 3. Does that make sense? Brent, max, and what? Minimum. So the function returns how many values now? Built-in function minimum. شو المشكلة؟ أنا طبعت mn مش min صح? Because this is a function in Python called what? Min. Is it good now? Is it working fine? Did you get this يا بنات? طيب. What is the factorial? Factorial. What did I do now? What did I do? I said n is equal to what? طيب. Is this gonna work? 10 minutes ago it didn't work. Yes or no? Why? Because I must send at least one argument. صح ولا لا? But if you do this, what does this mean? No. If you say equals, it's like you saying, if I call you without a variable, the default value for n is what? You get this. If I call you without sending you an argument, then the default value for your parameter is what? So now if I call this print what? C, it will be the factorial of 1. Let me just comment this code, ya banat. And did you get it? Factorial of 1 is what? طيب. I will just make it 5. What is factorial of 5? 120. Do you get this? So here I can call the function without any but if you do not provide, now is it going to work? No, it's going to tell me error. Why? You must so if you want to provide a default value for the parameter, just type equal sign. You can call it without it. Tamam. You can call it without it. However, if there is no equal sign, then an argument must be given to the function. Tamam. So anyone here get double x, I'll make it what? 10. Now, can you call it without anything? And if you call it without anything, what's the default value of x? 10. Does that make sense? No. If you now calling this function, if you call it with a number, x will not be 10 will not be used. Yes, the real one. The 10 here will only be used if you call the function without argument. Does that make sense? يعني get x now here. X is equal, get what? Double. Now x is 10. Because this is what I said. صح ولا لا? However, if you say 5, خلاص. This 10 has no value. Is not used. This will only be used if that parameter is missing. Good? Only if it's what? And this is what we call what? Default value. Now you cannot call the function here like this. You cannot do it. ماشي الحال. This is called what يا بنات? تمام. So returning functions can return what? Strings, booleans, true, false, anything. I did string acid. صح ولا لا؟ طيب خليكم معي. يلا prime number. Wow, okay. F كم? 13. And what's this? Now def is prime. You know what's this? I will send a value to, usually the function that starts with get, it returns a value. The function name, usually this is not a rule, huh? This is what? Practice. A function name that starts with is will return either true or what? يعني هذا practice, يعني تقاليد برمجية, huh? Is usually return what? هلا this function will take a value and return, tell us if it's a what? A prime number or what? طيب now I will use the same what? Prime is equal to what? True. تمام. For what? I in range what? 2 صح? And 2 plus 1. You know why I'm using plus 1 صح؟ تمام. هيك غلط راح تطلع صح؟ So I need to make this what? An integer division لأنه لازم تكون integer division يا بنات. Must be integer division صح? Because I can't, because if it's 7 it will be 3.5. We don't want that. تمام احنا. If what? يلا. If n what? Modulus I is equal 0 what? Prime is equal to what? False and break. Yes or no? And finally return what? Instead return what? Prime. Do you get this? And this prime is going to be either what? What was the question I did in the problem solving solution? Print prime numbers between what? 1 and 100. صح ولا لا? Yes or no? We did that, right? How I can do it now? In 2 lines. For I in what? In range 1 to 100. صح ولا لا? Yes or no? If is prime I, طيب. If is prime I means if this call returns true only. صح ولا لا? Print I. So now what's the output? When I will be printed? Only if what? If the function returns what? true. يعني if is prime like saying if true. صح ولا لا؟ بس خلاص. These are the prime numbers between what? Otherwise you needed to put this loop again and again inside the loop. Yes or no? ماشي الحال. So this is okay, another way of doing things. Let us see this now. Done with global constants, exercises, multiples. Okay. Returning multiple values. I think I did this. صح ولا لا؟ تمام. ماشي الحال. Okay. This week you have, do you have anything in the lab? What, lab exams or something? Okay.